Being live, and we are live. I think we're probably live now, but I just want to make sure. So I'm going to sit here and talk a little bit. How was the trip to Merrickville?
Oh, it was treacherous, man. That road, Sydney traffic.
Sydney traffic's awful.
Yeah.
Being from Texas, I'm used to being able to drive. Oh my God, I just saw a picture of a torn MCL and ACL. That is disgusting. Sorry. It's my short attention span I got. Yeah, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, driving in Texas. So imagine in Texas, you can literally think about going somewhere and know that you're going to have a spot right out in front of that place.
Yeah.
Imagine if you have that same luxury in Sydney. Imagine the possibility.
London's the same as Sydney, but Sydney, for some reason, the people here they don't know how to drive.
It made us the grid. We're live.
We're live.
Yeah. So don't get nervous. I always thought I was going to get nervous talking on the radio, or not on radio, but podcast. But talking to the mic too, you got to talk in the mic. You see how it sounds a lot better?
Can you hear me now?
No, I can hear you. Oh no, I can't. Go ahead.
Okay. Now you can, right?
Now, yeah. Can you hear it better on yours now?
Yeah.
I'm gonna turn these up. Cool.
There we go.
Now you can hear. Turn the computer sound up. Cool, man. Well, it's Flex with Tex again. I was here yesterday because Muscle Up Mike's bike got stolen Wednesday. This is an odd story. Yesterday's guest is what I'm speaking of and referring to. He was supposed to be here Wednesday, but his bike got stolen Wednesday, like right before the podcast. So then he had to cancel. So here I am 2 days in a row.
No way.
So 2 lives in a row. Nothing wrong with that. But I'm sitting here with Dan Lucas formerly known as Dan Megson.
Oh, it's been two.
Has it been 2 years?
No, it's been 2 weeks. 2 weks since I changed.
Oh, I was about to say 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Dan just got married. Congratulations, Dan.
Thank you.
He's got a wonderful partner, Mr. Mark.
Yeah.
Met these two gentlemen when I came to Sydney. I met them through my lovely wife, Nicole. How did you know her?
Through Play, wasn't it?
No, I thought you knew her.
Oh no, through
Ignite.
Yeah, when I first got here, I was working with Ignite with Dan and.
You're like the CrossFit hooker.
I'm the CrossFit hooker. Everywhere.
He gets around. So Dan Lucas is a guy that I'm very good friends with and share a lot of similar background with in certain ways with mental health and certain things. Dan's from England. Dan has a great story. Dan owns a organization and company called WODOUT, and we'll get into that in a little bit. I just want to kind of give a little preview of who you are. How'd you get to Sydney?
Sydney, I moved here it's coming up 4 years ago now. So it's a bit of a wild story to how I got here, but I had a bit of a colourful history with mental health and addiction. And spent a number of years.
Drug addiction, alcohol,
drugs,
all of it, whatever you could get your hands on.
Whatever you get.
Hey, man.
Anything to quiet down the noises.
Man, I know how you feel. Anything to quiet down the noises. That's good. I've never heard that. Well, it's not good, but that's hilarious.
Yeah. I'm sure it's the same for many people as well. That are using at that point in their lives.
It's almost like you turn to anything that can take you away from reality.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like you just want to escape.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
If you can get doped up and just be out of your head,
you don't have to think about anything.
It's almost like it becomes normal.
It's an escape.
And then you need it.
Yeah.
I think they call that an addiction.
It's called an addiction.
Yeah, right. Addiction sucks.
That's the term.
I'm a very, 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 very addictive person.
Yeah.
I've gone through so many addictions in my life.
Yeah.
Which, in retrospect, I look back on it and it builds a lot of character when you can get over addiction.
Yeah.
And then you can actually get to a position where you can actually help people, right?
So I agree.
Or not maybe even help, but you can have insight into where somebody's coming from.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that a lot of the times, if you can offer insight and just listen, it's sometimes even better than offering help.
Yeah, exactly.
Because some people don't need help; they just want to be heard.
And that's one of the biggest struggles that I've had through my years of addiction and mental health, and coming out the other end of it is trying to find someone just to listen.
A platform.
Just someone to listen, and not always do they need to have an opinion, or not always do they need to give advice. Sometimes it's just about having a space where you can come and you can just get it out, man.
This reminds me of the conversations I have with my wife when she's in a bad mood. She's like, I don't want an answer, dude. I don't need you to solve my problem. I just want to talk to you about it. Why don't you listen?
Yeah.
I don't need you to tell me like the ins and outs of what I'm going through and like why I'm doing this and like what the next step is.
Stop trying to rationalize it.
Yeah,
right?
man. It's like it's there. Let's acknowledge it, and then let's like talk about it, and then like we don't have to formulate a plan or our solution. We just have to like acknowledge that it's there.
Yeah, exactly.
So I could learn a little bit from this myself.
So yeah, so coming off the back end of that, I was still in London. I started doing fitness at this point, and I mean, fitness was a great tool for me to be able to get away from the addictions and the mental health issues that I was having. It was just I found CrossFit, so I replaced one thing with another.
Do you think do you think that the CrossFit just redirected that behavior, or did it fill a void?
Initially, what CrossFit offered me was a safe space to go where I didn't feel like I was being judged. It was for the first time in a long time I felt safe.
Like the Misfit Crew.
Yeah. And
it really is kind of like the Misfit Crew.
You know, everyone jokes around and says you drank the Kool-Aid and you've done this and you've done that, and it's a cult. It truly is.
It really is a cult, but it's like a good cult.
It's a good cult, and it's where people go. Most people that do CrossFit, they've got an all or nothing kind of mentality.
Yeah, I love CrossFit. I'm a bit turned off about where it's gone.
Yeah.
In the competitive side.
Of course.
I absolutely, and I'm very outspoken about steroids. I'm very outspoken about cheating, and like I hate that every sport in the world is like riddled and littered with steroids and gear. And like I get it. It takes hard work to get to the places that these people get to. But they're cheating. And like they wouldn't have the same success if they weren't using.
Yeah.
So like, you know, I make it legal. Like make it legal, make it an even playing field. I'm good with that. The problem is that people are cheating, they're lying about it, and then they're getting, you know, deals, or getting sponsorships, or getting paid. People are, you know, looking up to them, and it's all bullshit.
Yeah.
And like me personally, I've used steroids. I've done it. I did it for like 3 years when I was 18 because I was insecure, very insecure, felt like I had something to prove to somebody. You know, it was almost like I was replacing my drug habit with a steroid habit. You know, and I really was, really. I mean, I may have looked healthier, but I probably wasn't that much healthier.
Mentally, probably not.
Definitely not mentally, dude. I was very unstable when I was taking steroids. Like ticking time bomb comes to mind. Thankfully, I have a good head on my shoulders, and my environment's pretty safe in Texas. I was in like a very good neighborhood, and like parents were very involved with my life. Had a really good older brother to look up to. He did steroids too, by the way. Yeah. Not gonna throw him under the bus or anything. You know, we experimented with it. I did it for 3 years. I have friends that have been on it for 23 years. You know what I'm saying? So it is. I understand it. I'm glad that I did it in retrospect because I have a lot of insight to what it does to you mentally.
Yeah. And listen, it's there, and we don't ignore it. People are using it.
Yeah, and then you have your influencers on Instagram, social media.
Don't even get me started.
Yeah, that's a completely different. I've already gone into
topic.
Like 4 different podcasts about that, so we're definitely not going down that road against.
Breeds mental health issues.
It does. Well, that's why we're sitting here, right? Because the fitness industry is in a position right now where there's a massive shift going on, and it could go either good or it could go bad.
Yeah.
So nobody's being held accountable for the photoshopping, the manipulating images, using gear, to sell products and giving that false advertisement. Nobody's accountable for that. And there's no organization or governing body that's going out and leveraging that and seeing who's cheating. It's kind of hard to prove it unless you get people under the test or whatever. So what it's going to take is people that are also influencers that aren't doing that stuff.
Calling shit out.
Calling people out.
Yeah, man.
Call it for what it is. It's called accountability.
Yeah.
People got upset with me on one of my last posts about talking about a product back in Texas. It's a caffeine product that's been proven to not be good for you and not healthy. And the only people that were arguing with me about my post were people who distribute the product.
Yeah.
Well, go figure.
Yeah.
I'm jeopardizing their income. And these people are people who have no business selling supplements. They're not nutritionists. They're not dietitians. They're out a product on people that don't need it.
Majority of them don't even work in the fitness industry.
They don't.
They just got a six-pack.
Yeah, exactly. Of course. And then these people aren't even have six-pack. These people are just like people next door that have gotten on this multi-level marketing thing. They take the products and now they've got their aunt and uncles buying it and they're, whoever, and they think it's healthy because they may have lost some weight on it or something. But anyway, long story short, there's got to be some type of accountability and governing body that comes in. I think that's probably going to be people and not a governing body.
I think on a whole, within CrossFit, I think the one thing that lets CrossFit down, going back to the initial point.
Yeah, right.
That,
this is how podcasts go, bro.
The issue that I find with CrossFit at the moment is there is no governing body in terms of quality control of affiliates that are opening across the world. You know, you've got people that
compete against each other,
working in the city for the last 10 years, going to a weekend course. Oh, now you can open a CrossFit box.
There's people promoting CrossFit in the city that don't even have an affiliation.
Yeah, it's like CrossFit as a methodology is great.
Yes, it is.
It's amazing, given it being coached and being presented in the right way.
What is it? Constantly varied functional movement, high intensity.
Yeah.
And then there's increased
work capacity over time and
broad domains or something like that. I have the shirt. I still have the shirt. I agree. I love CrossFit. I got into CrossFit because I had a really bad back, had no engine. Somebody told me to squat. I've been a PT for 5 years. Somebody told me to squat, and I couldn't even get to parallel. And like at that point in my life, I was like, I thought I was shit. I thought I was awesome because I was on gear. I was all juiced up. I weighed about 250 pounds. I looked like a freaking behemoth. I had no neck.
Couldn't squat for shit.
I couldn't walk upstairs. I couldn't squat for shit. I could leg press like 20 plates though, bro. It's so funny. But probably like going down like 2% of the way down. Anyway, yeah, so CrossFit went to a weird place. I got out of CrossFit because of that. Kind of turned off about it. Still love CrossFit. In fact, I really kind of want to coach some CrossFit classes just to stay sharp. Yeah. Because I know that when I coach CrossFit, I stay sharp mentally as far as progression, regression, and cueing on the go. Yeah. That's huge, and you can't teach that to people, and I don't want to lose it.
No.
Because I'm very good at coaching on the go.
If you don't use it, you lose it.
Yeah, exactly. I'm serious, man. So like, I'm contemplating finding a box to do a couple classes a weekend, like 2 classes a Saturday.
So
I want to do a Saturday.
Self promotion there, guys.
Yeah, there you go. A little shameless plug. I want to do 2 classes. A Saturday class, morning time preferably, and then maybe a midday or like night class on a weekday. That's it. But I want them to be massive classes.
Huge.
I want to be big because I want to bring the energy, and I can coach. I can effectively, and I think any trainer can say this, you can coach about 12 to 15 people effectively. If you're a really, really good coach, I think you can manage 30 people. That doesn't mean you can coach them effectively.
No, you're managing.
You're
managing. That's the problem.
That's the key. You can manage them. It's like herding cats. But, okay, so we discussed mental illness, how you got to Sydney. You struggle with addiction, mental illness. I've struggled with mental illness and addiction myself. You use fitness as your catalyst or to bridge the gap and to start seeing better days, basically.
Basically, when I was getting clean and when I was having to deal with the reality that was going on in my head, I needed somewhere to create another community. So as an addict, I had this community of people that were my family and friends. I did everything with them.
Yeah, right.
Shot up and
so you had to like cut it out.
I had to leave all of that. And so you go from having this community of people to then being absolutely alone. With the first thing you want to do when you're in that position is reach out and use. Yeah. So I had to replace that with something. And a friend of mine mentioned to me, "Oh, you got to try this CrossFit thing," and I was like, "Sounds like the fucking circuit."
Sweet, I'll go try it on my way to the gym. That's what I said. I'll go try it on my way to the gym.
So I went in, and I was completely open and honest with the guys that were there, and told them my issues around drugs and my mental health problems, and there was no judgment whatsoever. It was just like, cool. Let's not spend too much time talking about that. We're here to move forward. And so it just created this safe space and this platform for me to meet a new community of people that were there for the same reason. To get better.
I remember I went to a CrossFit gym when I moved back to Texas from when I owned a CrossFit gym. Yeah. I sold it, and like this is me being really authentic and open. I had a Coke addiction, bad Coke addiction. Sorry, Mom and Dad. Oopsie.
Oops.
I don't really care because if it helps somebody, I don't really care because that's in my past. And anyway, so I had a pretty bad addiction, and when I went to the CrossFit box that I wanted to train at in Texas, in Fort Worth, I walked in expecting the dude to just like, dude, you're not going to fit in here. Because it was like a really like upscale box and like really nice place. And I walked in and sat down with him, and like before I could even like tell him my problem, I just like broke down and like cried, and like he would like put his arm on me, and he was like, "Dude, I don't care what it is, dude. You just like you can be here.
You can be here."
I was like, "Man," I was like, "I just did cocaine yesterday." He was like, "Cool." He was like, "Well, are you gonna do it today?" I was like, "Nah." He was like, "Sweet. Well, come train." And at this point, I've competed in CrossFit. You know, I'd done the opens. I'd owned a CrossFit box. I'd sold a CrossFit box. Going through a divorce, like a lot of things were happening. So like I turned to addiction. I turned to my the drugs. But when's the last time you used? That's a pretty open and honest question.
That's an open and honest question. Full disclosure, probably about a year and a half ago.
Yeah,
I fell off the wagon.
Slip up,
yeah.
Got right back on the. I'm guessing.
Got right back on. Like it was about a year and a half ago. I started hanging around with the wrong crowd.
All it takes is one knock, brother.
One knock, and the next thing I'm shooting Remy Martin, and then
no way, you were shooting. No, I've never done that. Never been there.
Next thing you know, I'm doing blow in the toilets, and I'm out for 2 days.
There you go.
So it was an eye opener for me. So I left London to get away from my past and to have a fresh start, and I came to Sydney, and I think that gave me.
You came to like one of the biggest drug places in the world.
Oh no! I mean, it's everywhere. If you want to find it, you're going to find it, right?
Well, I am from Texas, so like the cocaine scene in Texas isn't like crazy. But like when I moved to Australia, and the amount of cocaine that I've just accidentally seen here, and people pay outrageous it's crazy. Like I don't get it. Like why is cocaine so big? And is it because it's so like attainable? It can't be attainable. We're on a rock in the middle of the ocean. So let's be honest. Like you can't just like.
It's the social wonder drug.
I guess it is.
That's how I got into it. My anxiety stopped me from being social, and I'd go into a room and just hide in the corner, and then I found coke, and I was the fucking life of the party. Then I'd do a line of coke, and I'd be like, let's party, let's get it going.
Yeah.
And so it started off like that, and then it just propels into more and more to the point where I was shooting up crystal meth and.
Oh my gosh!
You got to
went down the rabbit hole.
Went down the rabbit hole. I'm
it happens.
very lucky, and I'm thankful for being able to come out the other end, and I'm thankful for fitness. Fitness was the thing that saved me. If I didn't have fitness, if I didn't replace my addiction with CrossFit when I did, legit be dead.
Probably dead on the side of the road somewhere. Yeah. That's kind of like the end game for anybody who just lets addiction take over their lives. I mean, very few people like live past if they keep going. Yeah, exactly. Like if you just keep going and going and going, at some point like you're either going to die or you're going to jail.
Yeah.
Because of the decisions you make when you're on drugs. But glad to see you came out the other end of it. I did as well. Mine was about 3 years ago. Been clean since.
Yeah.
It's to the point now where it's like thinking about doing it makes me like nervous. Like
anxious.
Yeah, like
butterflies.
Yeah, like it's just there's no way.
It never goes away. That thought and sometimes I talk about it and I still get excited.
Yeah, right. It. Like you're about to do it or something.
Like I'm about to do it.
Yeah.
But then the anxiety sets in of I know where that leads to, and it's just about having that knowledge.
It's funny you mentioned anxiety. So depression and anxiety are two things a lot of people deal with, and your organization caters to both of those. And if you're not familiar with what depression is being upset about the past.
Yeah.
Like if you've done something in your past and it keeps coming up into your mind and it just keeps demoralizing you, making you feel crappy, making you feel sad, that's being depressed. That's, sticks to you. So until you can get over that and forget that, the depression will still be there. And then anxiety
is the future.
Yeah, the anxiety is the future. It is the uncertainty of what's going to come in the future. And that's a lot to do with not being prepared. That's a lot to do with not planning.
Yeah.
And then, like for me, I have so many things going on in my life, like so many different like businesses that I'm involved with that gives me anxiety because like I have to put effort into every one of those, and if I don't, it gives me anxiety, like knowing that like I may not be where I want to be tomorrow.
Yeah, routine for me is key. I need to have
I'm a big routine person. Oh, dude, I'm the same. We're a lot alike.
Yeah,
ask Nicole how routine is with me.
Yeah.
I don't do good without routine. Like it'll ruin my day. Like I will get to the point where I'm just like, if that many things deviate in my day, I will just give up the day. I will go home and I will just chill.
Yeah.
I will sleep. I love
When
to sleep.
the anxiety gets real bad,
You sleep.
I just solitude by myself.
Introvert.
Netflix and chill.
Yeah, right.
Or just
What did I watch on
curl up
Netflix? I watched the Avicii documentary.
How good,
Dude.
man. So good.
He's
What they
such an
did to
amazing
him
person,
was-
man. The kid was amazing.
He was.
He had a gift that nobody else ever had, and I think that the dude just got so far into his head.
Mental illness again.
He was mental illness, 100%.
Yeah.
Like you could tell, like
But no self-care. He wasn't allowed the space to self-care.
yeah, he wasn't, and substance abuse. He did
Substance
drink a lot. He
abuse,
did take a lot of pills, but he was prescribed the pills when he got sick, when his
By
spleen
doctors.
ruptured by his doctor. And he was even challenging why he was getting these drugs, and he was telling the doctor, "These aren't helping my pain, but they're making me feel doped."
Yeah.
He's like, "It's not what I want." He's like, "This isn't what I want." He's like, "My pain is still
It's
here."
very sad.
Very sad. And there's also some conspiracy about that. But anyway, who knows? But
But that's
Avicii,
another thing, doctors, another reason why Ward Out is around is because through my own experience, doctors are too willing to go, take this. This will
mate,
help.
they
you."
don't create cures, they
Sydney,
create
I came here,
customers.
they tried giving me nerve blockers.
Not all of them.
Nerve
No.
blockers to stop me from feeling anything.
Oh, that's not good.
I was
No,
like,
I'm not saying that. Not all doctors are awful, obviously. There are doctors out there that have our best interests at stake or in their mind, but there are obviously in every scenario, in every business and occupation, there's going to be people that will
Good and
take
bad.
advantage. Or yeah, there's going to be good and bad. So you just almost have to really use a really safe vetting process when you choose a doctor.
Yeah.
And if you struggle with addiction, I think that you need to find a doctor that has dealt with patients with addiction. He's kind of been there. So, that's something that could help through Wad Out.
Yeah,
That
do you know,
could connect people with good doctors.
We've tried to reach out to these organisations, NA, AA, mental health sites, and they're not willing to.
I wonder why.
Well, a lot of it is because of anonymity.
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 Oh man, that's a tough word. Anonymity. Oh, I
Yeah,
can't say it.
that
I'm gonna
one.
try that.
Yeah. So a lot of it's because of that. They won't give out the information, but what I don't understand is why they won't send out our information.
Because you're giving them consent.
We're giving them consent to
But
plug us, because I truly believe, and this is through and it's not the same for everyone, that fitness for addiction and mental health is the most underused tool
Yes.
that there is.
Okay, well,
Right?
this is a perfect segue.
Let's have a look at why people are addicts or why people suffer with mental illness, and it's
They need a
a
hobby.
lot of it's that, but they also, through my experience, and this might not be the same for everyone that's suffering, but I was an addict and I suffered with mental illness because I had a limiting belief about myself that I wasn't good enough,
Oh, of course, man.
that I didn't deserve to
Man,
be
we're all
good,
there.
and I didn't, and
Yeah.
I was a shit person, and
Yeah,
it stems from my childhood and
Yeah,
all of that
man.
stuff, which
It
again is
always
a
does.
whole different
Environment.
story, but
will shape you.
we are a product of our environment, And what fitness did for me, and what I'm hoping to use What Out as a platform to do, is to educate. It educated me that I was just the same as everyone else. It taught me discipline. It taught me if I worked hard enough at something, I could achieve it. I might not be the best at it. I'm not going to the CrossFit Games, but I'm pretty damn good at CrossFit.
Yeah, right.
And it just taught me that I am worth it. I do deserve it. And if I work hard at it, then I'll achieve what I want to achieve. And that's the biggest thing that fitness has taught me.
Nice.
Yeah.
So Wad Out is an organization, if you're not familiar with it. So give me what does Wad Out do? So
Our strapline is that we're a life-changing fitness community.
a life-changing fitness community. So if you can imagine, Wad Out is a community of fitness. It's an organization that you can be a part of.
I'll go back to when it started,
let's
right?
do this.
So, Wad Out started when I arrived in Sydney. Probably I was 2 years in. So I was 2 years in, and I was sick and tired of not being able to meet people
Right.
that weren't into partying and weren't into the drugs.
Yes,
and,
we talked about
Yeah, we
this.
talked about that, and at the time as well, we had the Yes Vote going on in Sydney.
Yes.
So it was the whole Yes Vote, which of course
2
was
years
detrimental to the LGBT community and their mental health, because
Yeah,
now we're
man.
doing the Yes Vote, we've got
Man.
all of these haters
Man.
posting all sorts of trolling
Isn't that
shit on
crazy?
social media and making the LGBT community feel even more alienated. So it had the opposite effect than what it should have, in my eyes. And so we created Wad Out to be able to create a safe space for the LGBT community to come together, that weren't into the drugs and the partying, that wanted to live a healthier lifestyle, and to also give them a platform to meet other people that may be suffering with mental health themselves.
So it started as LGBT, but it's
gone
evolved into mental illness. So
Yeah,
like
so-
you've dropped that. I mean, you haven't dropped it. Obviously, it's part of it, but
It was an LGBT initiative that promoted healthier living lifestyles, so away from the drugs and the clubs.
I like that I like that it's more broad now, and it opened up to mental illness. So because it brings straight and gay people together
Of
for
course.
a bigger cause, right?
And
Because
it's, we
mental,
want
you
to.
don't just because you're gay or you're straight, you can still have mental illness. Like,
Of course, it's not just a gay thing.
It's not just a gay thing. If you didn't know, so.
Although some people would disagree with that.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm from Texas, bro. Like,
Yeah.
Believe me, I'm probably going to get lots of messages about this. We've already talked about that.
Yeah. But
We'll save that for another podcast.
So yeah, really, we just want to we want to create a space that we can bring anyone and everyone that appreciates each other
Yeah.
together, and create a safe space where people can come together and talk about those idiosyncrasies that they have through their mental illness or the problems that they're having with drug addiction, but
Yeah,
also
right.
learn a new skill. You know, they
Yeah.
come in, they're doing CrossFit, they're feeling empowered. Let's break down the barriers that because you're gay, you can't be strong.
Yeah.
you know,
Right.
or because you're an addict, you can't achieve X, Y, Z.
Yeah. Right.
You know, and once you're an addict, you're always an addict. That never goes away. But what we need to teach these people is that they can get better.
And they have a family, and they have a support
family,
system.
community, and a support system.
Yeah.
The worst thing is having no one to talk to.
Yeah, man.
You know, if you
Or-
lock yourself away,
Well, you think that you're all alone. You think that
Yeah.
you're the only person in the world that has dealt with what you're dealing with.
Exactly.
And if you
or
tell
just
somebody,
we spoke about this the other day, like leaving my house and checking my
Oh
fucking
my
front door
God.
10 times, knowing that I've locked it, but because
Yeah.
my anxiety head
Yeah.
is up here,
man,
I'm like, oh, did I lock the
every
door?
day it's a
I
struggle.
know I've locked the door, but I'll go up and I'll check
Yeah.
the door, and then I'll open it, and then I'll lock it again.
Man,
And just those small things, being able to talk to you about that the other day was
I
just
know,
like,
right?
shit,
Isn't that
it's not
cool?
just me.
nah, man. I literally, man, like I used to at my brother's house. We had two dogs that lived with us. Two dogs that lived with us, like they were our dogs. They were just like dogs that lived with us. We had two dogs. We had two roommates that were dogs. No, we had two dogs, and I absolutely love animals. And I had a dog that got hit by a car in front of me when I was in college. That was my little baby, and it just destroyed me mentally as far as like anxiety
Yeah.
about dogs and like getting run over by cars and
Yeah,
like
yeah.
whatever. So I had this like mental block in me that like I had to check the front door a dozen times to make sure it was locked. So I would check the door. I'm not kidding you. I would shake it and make sure it was locked 12 times.
Well, you
If it-
checked on the cat the other day as well. didn't
Yeah,
you?
exactly.
She
Well, I'll
said-
tell you in a second. I thought I shut the cat and I thought I was going to suffocate her anyway. So I used to check the door 12 times. Well, that ended up being not enough.
Yeah.
So I had a bench that was out in front of like a little bench, like we sit out on the porch. After a while, I started pulling the bench in front of the door.
Mm.
After I would check it for being locked
Yeah.
12 times. But here's the kicker. The door opened up inward.
So it wasn't going to do anything.
So it didn't do any good. And all it did was block somebody from walking the door. So I always get these random text messages from my brother. What the
Bro, stop
why are you pulling the bench in front of the door? Now, I love my family. I know that they know I'm OCD, and I know that they know what was going on. But I think they acted dumb. Thankfully, I have a wife now, Nicole, that she's identified my OCD, and she's helped me with it. Like, she talks to me like a normal person about it, and she says, why would you do that? Like,
Yeah.
you've checked it. Or she'll, like, make me ease. She'll ease up and
But,
say,
you
I've
know
checked.
what? But there's no rhyme or reason. There's no explanation. People ask, I've
Dude,
asked all
it's
the
so
time,
weird,
like,
man. It's like a...
what can I do? How can I
I
help?
don't
And then,
know,
like,
man.
it's different for everyone.
Yeah, like
know?
you can't just say stop doing that.
When you get into a funk, when I get into my anxiety funk, then, like, my partner Mark, God bless him, he's a 1 in a million. You know,
That's how Nicole is.
and
Same
he-
thing.
I know that he loves me to the end of the earth and back, but when I'm in that funk, there is nothing you can do.
Nothing.
You know, for me, you've got to let me go through the process. And if that is me sat in my underwear on the couch for 2 days doing nothing and just being alone in solitude and sleeping as much as I can, if that gets me out of it, that gets me out of it.
Yeah, right.
And so someone asked me the other day, you know, what do you do? How do you get out of it? Can you advise me? You've got to find your thing.
You got to find your thing.
You got to find
Yeah.
your thing, and it's going to be different for everyone. But by creating a platform through What Out, this is where people can come together and share what works for them. And
Right.
then, maybe you go home and you try that next time you're in a funk.
There you go.
And if it works, great. Well done. If it doesn't, you try something
Try
new.
something else.
Yeah.
So you do events, right?
Mm.
So I've been to one of your events.
Yeah.
I did your first one, I think.
That was a play in Annandale.
No, it was at the stadium at
That was the second event. CSP, yeah.
Okay, so you've done two. You had done an event before I did the event.
Yeah.
So explain what the events are.
So the events, initially they've changed a little bit now, but initially we chose a charity or beneficiary to work with, so Beyond Blue or Are You OK? And we would host a fitness event. So we'd bring people together, we'd run a fitness
There was like
training
100
session.
people at least whenever I was there.
There was
at least.
close to 100 people at this
Yeah.
event. And we would run it as different events. So we had one on the pitch that day.
Yeah, we had one on the
We used
stadium.
the stairs
And then
at
we
the
went
stadium.
inside and did Cindy.
Yeah, and then we went
Am I-
inside and did
do you-
Cindy.
I probably still have calluses from that.
For those of you that don't know what Cindy is, it's 5
5,
pull-ups,
10, 15.
10 push-ups, 15 squats, 20 minutes. Go
Oh,
hard or go
man.
home.
Man, me and I had Brando as my partner, so like I'm having to like go one-on-one with him.
I had Toddy.
I was dead.
Yeah.
My hands were destroyed.
And
So-
so yeah, it's basically, again, it was a safe space to bring the LGBT community together back then. It still is.
It's just evolved.
But it's just evolved, and we would charge and we'd have food and a social afterwards. Lululemon came on as a sponsor.
Yeah,
which was
right.
great. Gave away prizes, and it was just really about creating somewhere where people can come and network with
Yes.
like-minded people,
Sure.
and then the money that we raised got donated to charity.
Right.
And so now it's evolving, and the dream has got bigger and where we want to take it.
And I envision this being like an actual platform where people who want to get into fitness have a place where they can obviously be a part of Watt Out, and then they have a place where they can get their programs, nutritional advice, video content.
And it boils down to how fitness and nutrition is key for anyone
mental illness.
that is struggling with mental illness
Mm.
and addiction. They go hand in
Huge.
hand, man. For me,
Yeah.
addiction and mental illness go hand in hand.
Dude, I've been a fitness addict my whole half my life. Like you can replace the behaviors
You can replace the
with
behaviors,
something
you can't get rid of
positive. You can't
Yeah.
get rid of them.
it. Exactly.
Well, I like that. So, what's the next event for Watt Out? I think that's what we want people to do is we obviously want people to get involved with your organization and come out to your next event. So, we got Mardi Gras. We got Mardi Gras coming
Mardi Gras,
up.
baby.
Yeah. So you got a float, right?
We got a float. So we got.
That's not. By the way, it's not easy to get a float in the
It's
Mardi
a
Gras parade
process.
in Sydney.
It's a
So
process. We had to.
that's a win.
To put literally a whole presentation together of who we are, what we do, how we benefit the community, diagrams, pictures. It was
Really?
a full. Yeah. It
Well,
was a full.
That's a good vetting process. Can you imagine if there wasn't a vetting process, what some of the floats would look like? You'd have like some busted floats, dude. You'd have it wouldn't be good.
So we just had our last event, which was the Disco Wad. So
Yeah, I
that
saw that.
was
Sick.
to raise money for the float. I mean, it's not cheap, man.
No, I can't
We're
imagine.
talking $8,000
For a float?
Yeah.
So you're gonna build
to
it.
build our own float and
What are you gonna use as the base, like a car?
So we've actually got a digital truck that we're going to play.
A digital truck.
A digital truck.
So is it
It's
like
a real
it's
live
make-
truck.
It's like a
with
make
digital
believe truck.
screen.
Ah, gotcha.
And it's going to play content from the
Oh,
events.
that's amazing.
But then we've got marchers
You
behind
should
it.
paint the truck rainbow, like a rainbow.
No. There's going to be enough rainbows.
There probably, I was about to say, it might be a little too many rainbows.
Yeah. But,
If you want to check out any of the content from his last event, to go to Watt Out on Instagram. Is it just
WAD_out.
Watt? Does somebody already have
Somebody
Watt Out?
already had Watt Out.
Dude, I'm so mad at people.
And it's not even fitness, bro.
No, it's not.
No, it's not even fitness.
You gotta be
They
kidding
don't
me.
even use it. There's nothing.
I know. And originally my podcast name was Text Talks.
Yeah,
Like Text.
someone's got it already.
Somebody's got it already. The dude's done 2 podcasts since 2016.
Yeah.
He lives in Austin, Texas. He's done 2 podcasts, and I can't get the name.
Well, we've just
I'm mad.
what's the word I'm looking for? Not copyrighted, but trademarked.
Trademark.
So
Nice.
they'll be getting a knock on the door soon.
I'm sure. No, I'm still trying to get a hold of the guy in Texas for Text Talks, but my whole first season of my podcast, this is part of it, is just learning who I am, really, and just kind of like getting my foot in the door. So my next podcast will be a little bit more geared, a little bit more structured towards mental health.
Yeah.
So like that's all. Like I've dealt with that my whole life, and you have to obviously. So like that's what I want to talk about. So,
yeah, for sure.
But yes, the next event's Wad Out's Mardi Gras.
Mardi Gras event. We will have an event just before Mardi Gras, so the Mardi Gras pump event.
Okay, so we'll have like there'll be another workout.
There'll be another workout.
So that's how you get involved with Wad Out. So as for right now, go to Wad Out, Wad_out on Instagram and like them, follow them. Like them, just follow them. I think Instagram just follow, right?
Just follow. Yeah.
You can like all their content.
You can like the content.
Double tap.
Comment.
That's how you can go in and learn more about the organization, figure out what they are. If you want to get involved with that, if you're listening and you're struggling with mental illness or any type of addiction, or you just want to be a part of an awesome community, you don't have to be mentally ill to be a part of this community. Because we need people that.
We need people.
People who have either gone through it and are not struggling with it anymore, or people who don't struggle with it, who would like more insight into
help,
it.
It
just bridges the gap.
It
connects people.
And want to get involved in that capacity. We want to try and make fitness accessible for anyone and everyone.
Absolutely.
So most people that are really struggling with addiction or mental health probably don't have a full-time job.
Yeah,
probably don't have the funds to pay for a PT.
Sure.
So if there's people out there or PTs out there that want to jump on board and help by donating their services.
I'm here.
Yeah.
Hi.
And get involved and help with the people that need it by offering a coaching session once a week or whatever it is. We can talk about that, and that's the step in the right direction.
Man, I think you're headed in the right direction. You have an amazing platform, a brand. I think that this is definitely going somewhere, and it's good for the community. It's good for Sydney. It's good for anybody involved. So I think it's a win on all fronts. So well done on that. Mm-hmm. And like I said before, go follow Wad Out, Wad_out. Stay in touch. Send a message if you need to. Keep in touch with us and make sure you follow them, because when we do have the event, we want you there.
It's going to be kick-ass.
It's going to be huge. It's going to be big. I tell you what, I went. There was 100 people at the one I went to, and I always had a few since then. So I can imagine it's probably growing even more. And bring a dog, bring a friend with you.
Bring a friend.
Wait, maybe not a dog.
You can bring a dog.
Bring a dog.
I'm a dog-friendly kind of guy.
Yeah, I am too. Just bring the stuff you can clean the poop up with, little baggies. All right, man. Well, it was great talking to you, man.
You too, buddy.
See, I told you, he was all nervous before the podcast, and I was like, dude, we're going to start talking, and it's just going to happen. And it just happened.
It's good.
And we've been on for, let's see. Oh, oops. 40 minutes, so we're good.
40 minutes, we're good.
All right, man. That's it. We're out. I appreciate you listening. Tune in. Go like Flex with Tex on Instagram. I've lost my train of thought because this is playing in the background. Go to iTunes and go subscribe to my podcast. Leave a review. Don't leave a 1-star review like the idiot did that screwed my rating up.
Wow. Someone left a 1-star review.
Some idiot that doesn't like me did it. I don't care.
Right, thanks for that.
Anyway, thanks, bro. Really appreciate it. Really don't care, though. But go like Wad Out. Go follow Wad_out and go subscribe to our podcast. Wonderful weekend and an awesome Friday.